Okay, y'all. Breaking news. But first of all, what's up? Hey, moral of the story. But breaking news. The earth is not round. Okay? So, I'm not a TikToker. I don't go on TikTok. Yes, I'm one of those people who think they have a higher IQ because they don't scroll through hours and hours of TikTok. You need to leave! But stays on YouTube for hours and hours. Yeah, I'm one of those people for sure. Don't do the TikTok thing, but I was watching Rylan Adams and Lizzie Gordon's new podcast episode. The podcast is called The Sip, by the way. And there was one part of the episode that they were talking about how the earth doesn't look the way that we think that it looks. And I just had to talk about this because I was kind of mind blown a little bit.
What the fuck? The earth is not round?
Mind blowing. Yes, I clicked the link, and I will say, because of TikTok, I was shook this morning.
I'm 32 years old. I had no idea. The TikTok I looked at is like, tell me why I'm 21 years old. You're a child. Thank God you're learning this in your infancy. Do you know how fucked my mind is right now, knowing now that Earth is not round? Why has nobody told us this?
I blame our school system. I really do. They've sold us a lie. They've shown us what the earth is time and time again.
They give us little M&Ms, have us break through the 3 layers of it to tell us the 3 layers of the earth. Like, all of it's a fucking lie.
No, the earth is not round. The earth looks like this. This may not be that groundbreaking. I think it is, though. But really, what I'm wondering is, who was going to tell us? My follow-up question is, did our teachers not know either? Were they just as confused or lack the knowledge? I'm seriously confused right now and really, really wondering, was NASA going to say something? So I just thought that was kind of fun. And I guess that's fun fact of the day. The earth is not round. It's rock shaped. Duh. Anyways, back to the video. So to continue talking crap about TikTok, I wanted to react to a Sunny V2 video about this TikToker named Jayus. I think that's how you say it. I don't know. I saw somebody react to it, and before I could really watch the video, I said, okay, let me just stop and react to it myself. So I really have no clue who this person is, why they're considered almost the most hated TikToker. I don't know what's going on, and if you don't know either, I guess we're about to find out together. All right, so let's watch it.
In my past, I said disgusting things to people, and I am so ashamed of myself for using racist rhetoric, and I am so sorry to everyone, but especially to those in the Black community, because only you guys can forgive me for this.
One of the worst I've ever seen.
Oh, Lord. So it's one of these. Y'all, I swear, I didn't know. I did not know.
Definitely took notes from the other crappy ones, is how a YouTube comment described OnlyJayus' public apology following just one of her numerous different TikTok controversies.
What is going on with you white saviors that keep trying to defend Jayus for saying N-word lover, bro? You must say it too!
This is what makes OnlyJayus' story unique. Despite having incredibly uncontroversial content,
If you're at a house party and you got a drink in your hand, don't hold it up here by your chest. Try to hold it more down towards your hip. This will make you seem more open and confident, and people will be more willing to come up and talk to you.
Who told her that? Where'd she get that from? Why is it that majority of the time when creators get called out for something and they get exposed for something and they get canceled for something, it has to do with racism? I legit don't understand it. Some of my favorite creators from when I grew up and that I used to watch all the time, like Shane Dawson, gets called out for saying racist things. I don't get it. What is it that's so fun about saying racist stuff? I seriously don't understand. Because a lot of the times I don't even think, now I don't know about this person, but a lot of times I don't even think it's coming from strictly just a racist heart. I just think they think it's edgy and funny, and I don't get why. I really don't understand why. And I grew up in a predominantly white school. I went to a private school, had majority white friends, and I saw this in my everyday life a lot. And not as blatantly as a lot of these people do, like Shane Dawson, not as blatant as that, but just little things that I just don't understand why, and it's so problematic, and it really makes me like second guess who I'm watching, because it's like they're probably going to get exposed for saying something racist in their past or in their present, and I'm just like, okay, so who doesn't at this point? Who doesn't say racist things at this point? It's crazy.
Herself in a big scandal on the political TikTok battlefield every couple of months for the last 3 years.
At this point, people of color should not be following OnlyJayus.
Why is OnlyJayus more prone to getting involved in these types of controversies? Is it something to do with how she responds to those critical of her?
I barely text my family back, and I just had to move apartments because my address got leaked, and you're gonna throw a fit because I didn't make you my priority?
After a petition to ban OnlyJayus from TikTok garnered over 400,000 signatures, it'd be safe to say that she's a contender for the platform's most hated creator. And while such a title seems unfair without any further information or knowledge, as we go through explaining how this hatred came to be, the reason for this title will become blatantly obvious, and it all began with a tweet made by OnlyJayus on the 9th of April 2020, just 12 months after she began posting videos to the website. I constantly feel like nobody actually likes me, so when I see thousands of hate comments saying, yeah, I never liked OnlyJayus, she's so annoying, Jayus seems like a horrible person, that pushed me to the edge. The harsh and possibly even backwards reality of life is that those who acknowledge and complain about hate only end up receiving more hate. In the beginning, OnlyJayus likely received a pretty standard amount of negative feedback, owing to maybe a slightly annoying delivery as she mentioned in her tweet. The problem that OnlyJayus had was that she really struggled to ignore criticism.
People literally hate me for no reason. There's no way she actually tweeted that and thought she was doing something.
Attention to any situation in which there was some kind of negative sentiment against her name. It's going to be a running theme throughout this whole video, but it started with her simple inability to ignore basic negative comments, such as, yeah, I never liked OnlyJayus, which is a pretty tame comment, giving her a foundational reputation as someone who would crack if you simply applied enough pressure. 3 months later, this reputation as a creator who would respond to negative criticism would continue after OnlyJayus discovered that another creator by the name of the Jonathan Moss had been copying some of her videos word for word.
Did you know that your birth month actually has a huge effect on who you are as a person and the things that could possibly happen to you?
Yo, did you know that your birth month actually has a huge effect on you and the things that can happen to you in your life?
People born in March are way more likely to have asthma, and I can actually speak to this one because my little sister, the only one born in March, has asthma.
I'm born in March. I don't have asthma. Okay.
People born in March are actually more likely to have asthma. And I can speak to that because my cousin, the only person born in March, has asthma.
Okay. He really, that was word for word, my dude. That was word for word. Come on now.
Respond to the copied videos in a tweet reading, TikTok creators should be called out when they copy other TikTok creators' videos word for word, alongside a video calling out the Jonathan Moss directly. Jonathan responded by stating that he'd simply found the information on Google, and as a result, OnlyJayus was berated and mocked by her audience, with them stating that she was in the wrong for copying the information from Google. This information is from a website. Why are you copying a copier? Copied from Google, then complains when others do the same. Which Business Insider article is this from? There was clearly a bit of an injustice being done here. To state that her information was invalid because it was found on Google has got to be one of the dumbest arguments ever made. What did they expect her to do? Find some old 1850s foundational manuscript covered in dust at the National Library and take her facts from there? Jonathan Moss had clearly copied her videos word for word after OnlyJayus had posted them originally, meaning there was no doubt about who copied who. However, OnlyJayus was still painted as being in the wrong for one simple reason. They knew they could get a reaction out of her if they simply applied enough pressure, which they eventually would. After receiving hundreds of negative comments on her response, OnlyJayus would take to Reddit stating, he said that he found it on Google, which I mean he did, but only after watching my video. I'm now getting a huge amount of hate, people saying I'm lying. I copied Google too, I'm problematic, I should be cancelled, etc. I have a hard time dealing with the negativity. I still don't know what to do. I don't think I've done anything wrong. Maybe you do, but honestly, I don't see it. Now, you probably wouldn't go so far as to say that OnlyJayus was playing the victim, but she was once again complaining about the circumstances that she had found herself in. And to reiterate the point from earlier, complaining about hate doesn't make it go away, but rather amplifies it, as the audience will look for increasingly petty things to berate you for. With this in mind, it's barely surprising to find out that approximately 6 months later, an old message would be dug up in which OnlyJayus had said the N-word, taking center stage as her brand new colossal-sized controversy.
I love you no matter your sex, your gender, your sexuality, your faith, or your race.
Guess that didn't age well, cause this you at the bottom calling someone the hard ER, a word used to oppress black people. That's why I don't trust people with savior complexes, bro. I feel like it's always a second agenda behind what you do. If you say it's 2 to 3 years old, you were 20 years old when you said it. The other day, Addison was canceled for old BLM tweets from 2016. Let's see if everyone keeps the same energy. You're a role model to 10 million people, bro. I hope things get better, and I hope you educate.
There were a couple of comments in support of OnlyJayus, however, as a whole, and understandably, the response was mostly negative. All these white people saying, it happened 4 years ago. Literally, it doesn't matter. She did it and needs to take responsibility. The hard ER, she's done. And at OnlyJayus, you got caught in 4K. The best way that Jayus...
See, and that's like what every creator who gets called out for this does. Oh, it happened when I was younger. Or like, oh, that's the old me. Famous Shane Dawson line. I don't know who that person was.
How do we make it more shocking? Like Howard Stern. Like, it just got to a point where I'm happy it ended because I wasn't even myself. I don't even know who I was at that point.
And like, I understand, this is the thing, like people do grow, people do change, and you have to give people the time to do that. But I think like a lot of these people just obviously apologize because they got caught. But it's also, when you think about it, what compelled you? It's not like you were dumb and you didn't know what you were saying. Like you're a little kid and you just heard something from your parents and you're just repeating it. No, you're old enough to know right from wrong. You're old enough to know this is not what you should say, yet you still say it. And like, you have to understand, like, where does that come from? Is it like something that your parents may feel that they have told you before? Or is it something that you actually feel and that you just, you know, said it in the heat of the moment? And especially when people are like, oh, I was just mad, I didn't mean that. I just don't take that as a right excuse. If you're mad and you say something and that holds to something like that with that weight, you say it because you actually mean it in the moment. Maybe you didn't want to hurt the person in that way after, you know, the conversation's over, after the fight is over. But usually people take jabs and low jabs like that because they actually mean it in some way and they feel that way in some type of way. And so like, I don't ever think that, oh, this happened 4 years ago or this happened when I was younger, is taking responsibility for anything, because you're literally not taking any responsibility. You're just blaming it on, oh, it happened a long time ago. Okay, but it still happened. So what about it? So why did you say it?
The best way that Jayus could have responded to this expose would have either been no response at all, or a short, cool, calm, collected, unemotional post or video. Alternatively, she could have thrown a real curveball and simply said, I'm not sorry, which would have actually been respectable, as it's 100 times harder than simply getting in front of the camera and blurting out some pre-written stupid script with the goal of suppressing the criticism in the short term. However, with a track record like OnlyJayus, obviously she did none of these, and rather posted a long, emotionally charged, scripted, generic social media apology, which felt as though it was designed to trick the audience into coming away with a specific feeling, as is usually the case with these types of public apologies.
And there is no excuse, and there are no justifications for what I said, and you guys deserve better. And when I first saw the screenshots, I didn't even think that they were real, because I forgot how hateful and how angry of a person I used to be.
But no. See, this is, people need to stop scripting their apologies.
I don't deserve a platform if I continue to act in such a gaslighting and irresponsible manner, and I'm so sorry for how long I've done that.
I've put myself in a lot of situations where I've needed to apologize for my past actions, and I've never done this correctly.
And I look at them and I see them resurface, and it just makes me sick to my stomach, because I don't know who that person was. I know who I am today. I know exactly the person I am today, but I do not know who that person was.
Because I wasn't even myself. I don't even know who I was at that point.
Because when you script your apologies, or you get somebody to write a scripted apology, like a PR team or something like that, that is probably the easiest way for people to poke holes into what you actually mean and what you really said and why you really said it. How are you going to sit here and say, oh, I forgot how hateful I was? First of all, that was just 4 years ago. And if you were really that hateful, you're not going to forget. How can you say, oh, this is so tacky, like literally so tacky and it's literally so fake. Oh, I didn't even think those were real. Girl, you know exactly who was behind that phone. What do you mean you didn't know? Or you forgot that it was me? You thought it was fake. Like, you shouldn't have even said that. You shouldn't have even said that part, bro. Now your whole entire apology looks disingenuous, looks like you're just saying something to put a statement out there so you don't get canceled, and that's literally what she's doing. It's so blatantly clear already.
Another YouTuber slash TikToker by the name of Papa Gut, who spoke to Jayus on the phone prior to the apology, thought that the intentions were sincere and that the apology was simply delivered poorly.
I actually had a conversation, a private phone call conversation with Jayus about this situation. She seemed pretty sincere about how sorry she was. Again, like I said, I thought she was being genuine. What she produced was rough. It was less than stellar.
Others such as Freak the Gemini were less optimistic.
You literally hit us with a Playboy Cardi album. All that suspense just for it to be trash.
I don't know.
You don't know.
Worst insult you could tell somebody was liking black people. Wow.
With the scandal being shared across every platform imaginable, OnlyJayus would also lose all of her sponsors, as well as a Netflix podcast she'd been hosting by the name of Know It All. At Tinder, this is what your walking ad is saying. She has a Netflix podcast. Everyone needs to tag at Netflix.
Netflix? Wait, run that back. What is she on Netflix for?
As well as a Netflix podcast she'd been hosting by the name of Know It All.
They just be giving anybody any show. Anybody.
Netflix has cut ties with Jayus. Big dubs.
OnlyJayus was clearly feeling the pressure and understandably wanted to make things right with her audience. So she'd end the apology by stating that she wanted to
share my platform with some amazing black creators who are going to tell their story to try and educate others on the trauma that happens when we use this kind of language.
Which would eventually result in her and another African-American content creator by the name of Aunt Karen agreeing to collaborate on OnlyJayus' channel. In addition to this, 2 weeks after the apology, OnlyJayus would go to the effort of posting a video talking about how she had read a book on anti-racism.
The first book that I decided to pick up was How to Be Anti-Racist by Dr. Ibram Kendi, and this will push readers that think that they're not racist into being something better.
To her credit, she did it.
Okay. See, this is it. This is definitely the savior complex. First of all, you don't need to read a book on how to not be racist. If you need to read a book on how to not be racist, you have serious issues. As a black person, I'll literally teach how to not be racist. Step 1. Just don't be racist. That's it. That is literally the speed run to how to not be racist. Very simple. Just don't be. You don't need to go to Target and buy a book about anti-racism. Who wrote that book? And guarantee you she didn't get past chapter 1. Okay, I had to make sure that this person was at least by a black person. It checks out. But still, you shouldn't even need to. This is the thing. Black people shouldn't even need to be writing a damn book about how to be anti-racist. I'm not gonna even get to that. I'm not gonna even get to that.
Racist into being something better.
To her credit, she did acknowledge that it was a grift in the title, stating, "I know it might come off as performative, talking about this at the end of Black History Month, but I'm trying to just educate myself and use my platform for good." However, her audience wasn't buying any of the lies. I bet after this video she just tossed the book like it's nothing. That seems like an amazing book for you, but I think you missed some pages. Maybe you missed a few chapters? Read it again. But hey, at least she was still in the process of sharing her platform with some other black content creators as she promised, right? Well, no.
So this message is for you, OnlyJayus, after your whole N-word debacle. Said you want to collaborate with me. We email, and suddenly you've dropped off the face of the earth. Are black people just tokens for you to use when you're ready to play? If you were really truly sorry about what you said, you would not have lied and said you were going to do something you clearly aren't trying to do.
The TikTok essentially outlined that after agreeing to collaborate, OnlyJayus would ghost this creator by the name of Aunt Karen once everyone had forgotten about the drama. Now, to OnlyJayus' credit, Aunt Karen's callout was even more pathetic than Jayus' original apology, because setting up a collaboration with another creator can be incredibly difficult. There's always problems relating to difference in content style, difference in schedule, difference in time zones, the problem of coming up with a video idea that will be a hit with both audiences, what part of the script do I allocate to the other person, etc, etc. Yet, Aunt Karen's argument in the callout was, because OnlyJayus ghosted me, she's therefore a racist.
Why not just be racist? Just say you're racist.
Now, maybe there was some racism involved in the decision, decision, who knows? But it's still a lazy, low-hanging fruit argument designed to create drama out of the highly likely reality, being that collaborations are just incredibly difficult to set up successfully.
This part of the video I don't agree with what Sunny V is saying. If you are getting canceled for racism, if I were getting canceled for racism and this is my tactic to build my credit back and to build my reputation back, I'm going to make sure that this happens. I'm going to make sure that it happens. So maybe either people just weren't really talking about it that much, so she felt not the need to actually do it. And like people were probably giving her less hate, or she wasn't getting as many hate comments. Therefore, she was like, okay, I don't really need to collab with this person, which shows even more of the reason why she wanted to collab with her in the first place. I personally think that this content creator is, I'm not saying that Jayus is actually racist, but like, I would have the same thought as well. Like, clearly you were only trying to collab with me to make yourself look better, and now that less people are talking about it, you have no reason to collab with me anymore. If you genuinely wanted to collab with me, you would have done it anyways, especially if this was a tactic to use to help build her reputation. So in my opinion, I think she just didn't collab with her anymore because people were probably not talking about it as much anymore. Therefore, she did not need to use this creator for her benefit.
In addition to this, a feature on OnlyJayus' page with over 10 million followers is going to cost a brand probably hundreds of thousands of dollars, and despite OnlyJayus offering one of these spots to Aunt Karen for free, Aunt Karen still seemed to narcissistically think that she was the one providing OnlyJayus with the opportunity.
I really gave you an opportunity. I really said, you know what, Aunt Karen? Let's see what she has to say. Let's see how we can mutually help each other.
Aunt Karen's call-out was entitled and poorly thought out, but not invalid for one simple reason. OnlyJayus made a promise. There are obviously exceptions, but most of the time, if you say you're going to do something publicly, you have to follow through with it or people are going to notice. Jayus would initially discuss the ghosting in an Instagram voice message.
So I am sorry for basically ghosting you. I didn't mean to do that. I just have a very chaotic schedule and ADHD on top of that, so I genuinely just forgot. It wasn't me trying to ignore you. You could have just hit me up again, but instead you decided to go public and try to add public pressure onto me, and that's not cool, so I don't want to collaborate.
Why do they always go to ADHD? Why do people always talk about ADHD as a reason why they acted out and acted unprofessionally?
Dude, a lot of people have a lot of stories about me being unprofessional. I promise you that. Like, there's no shortage of them. I used to be really difficult to work with, and probably in the wrong setting, I'm still really difficult to work with. Acting, especially, like...
This is definitely the turnaround tactic. Like, let's Uno reverse this, and let's make you feel bad about me not keeping my promise. It's crazy.
To collaborate.
Which will once again receive a response from Aunt Karen, explaining that she had emailed OnlyJayus multiple times with no reply.
You're gonna put it on me? In your voicemail, you said I should have emailed you again? April 4th, I emailed you. How many times do you expect me to message you, waiting on you to continuously ghost me?
Now, OnlyJayus probably could have left it at that, and the drama would have been over within 4 weeks. However, as Papa Gut said most accurately,
for whatever reason, Jayus doesn't know how to just stop. Like, when somebody criticizes Jayus responds, and that's the worst thing.
And in classic OnlyJayus fashion, she'd post another emotionally charged response to the drama.
Today's episode of What Are People Mad at Me For Now? Not checking my emails in a timely manner. I wish I was joking. Forgot to respond to an email from this creator that wanted to collab with me, and you know, instead of just like hitting me up again, they made 7.
Oh my god. Girl, calm.
Videos about it! Can you please leave me the f alone? I have a diagnosed neurological disorder that makes me forget things and procrastinate due to time blindness. I forget to eat for days. I procrastinate sleep.
We mentioned earlier that
you forget to eat for days? No, you can't. That's honestly impossible. Why we have to reach like that? You could have just, okay.
The more attention OnlyJayus gave to each of these scandals, the more she'd be held accountable for increasingly petty incidents. Well, after this explosive response, the things that her audience would call her out on were taken to the absolute extreme. For example, she would post this video.
You can get your letters delivered for free without any postage if you just put where you want it to go on the return address instead of where it's actually supposed to be.
Which would get the post office activists involved with comments such as, yes, please encourage people to do activities that cause the already failing post office to lose more money. Or when she posted this video saying nothing more than what degree she did.
So I got my college degrees in math and computer science, which means that I was never really good at writing.
To receive comments such as, I thought you would have majored in saying slur sciences. However, it eventually got to the point where OnlyJayus couldn't even make jokes anymore without being cancelled. Seriously. On the 23rd of May 2021, OnlyJayus would post the following video.
If a service dog ever approaches you but they're alone, that means that their owner's in trouble and they probably can't move, so you should follow him, because you'll get a free wallet.
It was clearly a light-hearted joke, summed up in comments such as, she probably said the wallet thing to lighten the mood of something bad. Obviously she wouldn't take a wallet and probably knew that most people would. Bro, do people get this as a joke? Y'all are so sensitive.
Okay, like, it was obviously a joke. That was obviously a joke. They didn't have to, that was obviously a joke. She didn't have to say that, but come on now, that was obviously a joke.
However, the rest of her audience simply saw yet another opportunity to put OnlyJayus through another period of hardship. Can't believe this is still up. It's obvious that it's a joke, but some people may still do it. It could start a trend. What you post on the internet reaches so many people, and some of those people may be inconsiderate or apathetic towards others and do something wrong as a joke that highly affects another person. Take some YouTube and TikTok prank channels for example.
When is it going to be enough to say OnlyJayus is not a good creator, should not be followed, and should not be listened to? My child, they are a service dog user. This is not a kind of joke you want to be putting out there. It's not funny to anybody who uses a service dog.
With all this in
mind, the petition. But to talk about what they just said about what that comment said about like pranksters on YouTube, even though I did say like clearly it's a joke and like it's not that serious in my opinion, but the comment that said like, okay, yeah, it may have been a joke, but it can still cause harm to people, and they talked about like pranksters on YouTube and stuff, and that is honestly a very, very good point to make, because yeah, it's a joke and most people who are good people aren't going to do that. That's what I'm trying to say, because a lot of people don't see that it's a prank, or they don't see that it's just a joke. Let's take the YouTuber for example that went to go rob some random house as a YouTube prank because he saw other YouTube pranksters do it and didn't realize that it's just fake and made up. He literally got shot and killed.
A parking lot now filled with cars, kids, and families enjoying a fun evening at Urban Air, a trampoline park. It was a different scene Friday night. Police say a man named Timothy Wilkes and a friend did a prank robbery, running at a group with a butcher knife. That's when one in the group shot Wilkes, unaware that it was fake. Police say it was being filmed as part of a YouTube video and that no charges are being filed right now. People living nearby said they heard the whole thing.
So it is very serious, and it's something that you shouldn't take lightly. So I do get, like, if you have a big platform, like 13.5 million followers, you should be more aware of what you're saying. You have to be.
With all this in mind, the petition with over 400,000 signatures to have OnlyJayus banned is barely a surprise. She dug herself into a hole by displaying an inability to switch off from the audience after being involved in scandal after scandal after scandal. Sometimes criticism from the audience is genuine and can be spotted easily because it's worded in a constructive way, but a lot of the time, without them even realizing it, people write mean or critical things just to see if you're the type of person to crack, respond, or apologize, as has been the case throughout OnlyJayus' entire TikTok career. She's been tested over and over and over, yet has been unable to switch off and let things go whenever she's been put under pressure. As an end result, there's not only a loss of respect, but also a never-ending freight train of negativity and hatred.
Well, okay. I don't know if she's still on TikTok. She probably still has a platform. I wouldn't even put it past it. But this is crazy. I didn't even know this was going to be about that. But I'm just saying, it's just really sad and honestly, like, just discouraging that a lot of, like, creators just get called out for racist things. I just don't really get it. I don't get the fun part about it. I don't get the edgy part about it, especially like in this day and age. I really don't understand it. Not saying that, and that's another thing that a lot of creators say. Oh, well, back then, you know, jokes were more edgy. Oh, back in 2010, like, it was like, you know, everyone was making jokes like that. Okay, well, yeah, back in the 1960s, everyone was making blackface jokes, and that was, I guarantee you, a lot of those creators would not think that's okay now. You know, so, like, it doesn't matter the time period. It's just simply, like, not okay. But, I don't know. Trust me, I feel like I've seen worse from creators, and not saying that there's probably a lot in this video that was not covered, but I just, at the end of the day, I think like when you come across people like this, you just gotta unsubscribe. Don't even give them the time of day. Don't even like make countless of videos on them. Maybe like a couple videos to aware your platform if you do have a big platform about that person. But like the back and forth, the why didn't she collab with me, the let's talk crap about her, talking about did she graduate in science and slur of science or whatever it said. It's not even worth it. It really isn't, because that's honestly what those type of people thrive on, believe it or not. It gets them more views still. You're not doing anything but still giving these people more views. So like, if you actually care about, you know, not deplatforming, but if you actually care enough about what that person said to not support their channel anymore, just unsubscribe, just unfollow, and stop bringing other people to watch their videos even more. Because at the end of the day, publicity is publicity, whether it's hate, whether it's love. Okay? So they're still gonna get views, they're still gonna get clicks, and the easiest way to shut people like that down is to stop giving them the time of day. That's just how I feel about it. But yeah, I don't know, I do like Sunny V2's videos, so if you guys ever like see one of his videos that you want me to kind of like react to, just comment that down below and I would love to do that again. But yeah, thank you so much for watching my video. If you would like to like and subscribe as well, I would highly appreciate that, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, peace.